Welcome to a nutty adventure exploring personal growth and wellness, breaking down the stigma around mental health along the way. Let's dive in because now it's time to show me your nuts.
So, everybody, it's Tuesday again. How in the heck did that happen? Welcome to Show Me Your Nuts. And this week is gonna be a wild one. Strap in, it's time to go. Everybody get their seatbelts on, put your tray tables in the upright position, and let's do this thing. We are talking about integrity this month. And we kicked it off at the beginning of the month with Henry Cameron. Last week, we talked about integrity and stories, personal integrity. Today is about building trust through integrity. We're going to talk about the relationship between integrity and trust, stories of trust that are built on a foundation of integrity, and things that are designed to strengthen the trust in your own relationships. So, as I try to do, let's do an energy check in the comments. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you trust yourself? On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you trust yourself? And I see that Miss Sang D's already in the comments with a happy birthday. And yes, it is my birthday, and we will get there. I will bring up some more about some funny things that have already happened this morning. And Frank D, good show. Thank you for the comment there, Frank. Sang says 8.75. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you trust yourself? Rhonda, thank you so much for the wishes. I see how today's going to go. It's like having a Facebook, looking at my Facebook later. It's going to take me an hour just to look at everything. I know it. Come on, you guys. 1 to 10, how much do you trust yourself? And I'm going to say on 1 to 10, how much I trust myself. Ooh. See, my gut said 10. But then my, do I really trust myself? My, something got in there and said, Sometimes it's like it bounces back from a 10 to a 1. And then I go, oh, well, that's BS, and bring it right back to a 10. So I'm not quite sure. I don't know if I might be that doesn't make me a 5. I seriously was I hit 10 in my gut really fast. Rhonda says a 9. Oh, yeah. And do I trust myself? And if there's cake in front of me, I'm effed. I am just straight up effed. Fresh baked good. Yeah. You Sang trusts herself with cake. She's a 10. I trust that with cake, I'm going to eat that stuff. And today I want pancakes, and I want and yesterday I wanted pancakes. So I'm going to have to deal with this. I want really good pancakes. I don't just want to go to the drive-through and get pancakes. I want decent freaking pancakes. Okay, you guys, you're coming through with some funnies. But what? I didn't know there was a doorbell in this room. But I just heard something. Speaking of relationships, you guys, somebody just sneaked in the studio. So I am going to welcome a special guest. Speaking of relationships, somebody who encourages me when I don't even realize it. I can't introduce them without just bringing them on. So Sang is in the house.
Hi.
Welcome to Show Me Your Nuts, girlfriend.
Well, I don't have any, but I've got biscuits.
Oh my god. Yes. If
And
you know, hashtag if you know, you know, Sang's got biscuits.
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, that was one of those moments where you just had to be there.
I know. Yes. Dang, it's saying I need my own little DJ noise thingy maker.
So here goes Henry Cameron Allen with busting out the translated happy birthday.
Oh, I love it.
He translated into Potawatomi. Good
Wow.
job there.
Nice. Kudos.
No gishgam nagon nungam. No, I can't even say my own language. That's just bad. Thank you. Jen. Thank you, Miss Brittany. And yes, dang, it is Sang. And
my button.
you may not have
oh wait, I think I looked it up. the other day to get my DJ. I'll find it.
Mm-hmm. So I'll use this one, Sang, for you. Mm-hmm. There she is. And the one who encouraged me to wear my
she should really.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I don't always do that. In fact, I had to pull this tiara out of wherever I had it months ago, because you were like, no, if you have one, where is it?
Yeah,
where is it? Why is it not on your head?
Well, even when it's not your birthday, put it on.
Even when it's not your birthday, you've got to wear it. You know. So I had to pull it out of the closet and clean it up, and now it sits right next to my chair because it needs to be on once in a while.
I challenge you to wear it all day today, wherever you go.
I'm not sure if I'll pull that off.
Sure,
I'll think about it. I'll think about it.
Let me know
yeah. Speaking of relationships and integrity, we met in a bar.
Yeah.
We met in a bar.
Did we? Yes.
In this virtual place called the Come Right In. And then found out that we lived in the same city. And it's like, well, hello, we've got to give each other a hug. I mean, right? And this is the Breakthrough Show Network, by the way. And you know, if you are in the same physical vicinity as another person who you meet in the Come Right In, you have to give them a hug. Just ask Jessica and RJ.
Yeah. And lunch is
well, and so then the first hug was like a little over a year ago at my bestie's gluten-free bakery. And then fast forward to the day I found out Sang's got biscuits, and we had breakfast together with another colleague.
Denver Biscuit is where we were.
At Denver Biscuit with none other than Jamie Rich.
Yeah.
And we've actually had various breakfasts. And then forward again, and we found this other place, and that has the most amazing cortados. Oh, I don't know if I don't think I'd had a cortado at a restaurant before that, but a cortado basically is an espresso with chocolate. I get mine with dark chocolate and heavy cream.
Yes.
And it's like a shot of heaven. That's about all, you know. And then of course the espresso hits you and you're high for, you know, high on caffeine for a bit. So this morning it's not cortados, but it's my ugly looking mug with.
You mean my gorgeous mug?
Well, it's gorgeous. The mug itself is gorgeous. It's a little ugly on the inside. That's okay. It has espresso
I'm being used on the inside. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have espresso with chocolate bone broth. I know that sounds strange, but it's chocolate flavored protein.
I
It's
trust.
a flavored protein drink. And what I like is that it's not so much espresso that I get a headache later.
Okay.
And I start my day with some protein, which given my recent adventure with losing one of me a week, that's what I'm doing. I'm working on losing less of me, losing so there's less of me.
Mm-hmm. So what have you learned then, I guess, in the last year or so about integrity and trust with your relationship?
With you
Yeah.
or through us?
Cool.
What I have learned is I know that what I see is what I get.
Mm-hmm.
And what I hear
Mm-hmm.
out of Sang's mouth is what she does.
Mm-hmm.
Which goes back to my favorite saying. I need to make a slide about that saying. My favorite saying by Jane Addams, who is one of the founders of one of my professions of social work. And the saying is, action is indeed the sole expression of ethics.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that embodies integrity. And so when we met, neither of us, I think, knew why we had met yet. We just knew we were attracted and like, this is like another sister.
Yeah, and then you got invited to the party, to your friend's gluten-free shop. I don't remember the name, so I apologize.
Yeah. So it's Morgana's gluten-free bakery and cake. Just to throw a little plug in there for her.
You know, and I showed up with my friend, and it was funny because she's one of those people, like, I was like, hey, I'm going to go to this thing. I'm going to meet this lady I've never met before. I'd like for you to come. She's like, okay, like, didn't ask any questions. And that's what I love so much about her.
And had I been going to your friend's place and I would have said to Morgana, hey, let's go.
Right.
You would have said, okay. You know,
it's those people in your life where, like, there are certain people, like, they will go, you know, hey, come with me to do this. And you're like, no problem. Go.
Yeah.
No question. Right?
You don't even have to say what you're doing. It's like, hey, we got to go.
And then here we are, even a year later, even though she didn't come with me this time, like those little breathe in, breathe out stickers that you have, right? You know, she has some of those because I gave her some of mine to have for her classroom because she's teaching kindergarten. So right. it goes on, like it carries on. The conversations carry on. Your integrity is about what you are doing, like you said, and showing up in a way that matches your words.
Yeah. So like what you say is what you actually do.
Yes.
And what you do is, like, my integrity, for integrity, it includes the way I treat other people and the way my intention is do no harm.
Right.
No matter what I'm doing, my intention is that. Now, that's not to say I haven't hurt people. I know I've hurt others.
Sure.
I feel like complete dog shit when I do. And I immediately search for, okay, why did I do that? What do I, and how do I genuinely apologize if that's the case?
Well,
right?
I like that. I also, I mean, that to me, I'm like, yes, that's your own accountability for sure.
Yeah.
How you impact others. Definitely. Right. I know this was a conversation that some of us were having over the weekend, and it's, there's also the responsibility of other people who, to me, I have friends who will come to me and say, hey, Sang, you said, when you said this, it made me feel XYZ. Right. Because sometimes we say things we don't even know that it impacts somebody else because we just don't know.
Right.
And so, oftentimes, like, friends or people will be mad at you and you have no idea why. And then you're like going, but it's also, to me, it's everyone's responsibility to own their own feelings and be able to come to somebody and say, hey,
there she goes with the mic drop, folks.
Like, like my daughter, for example, my daughter's, first of all, I'm going to tell you, my daughter is like a mini version of me, only 10 times better. I've said that a million times. She's 24, or she's about to be 24. No, sorry. She's about to be 25. Ooh, sorry. It's 2025. But being able to, like, I was asking her some questions the other day, and she was able to come to me and say, hey, Mom, I'd really like to own this project on my own. I'd like the autonomy to do that instead of me just, coming in, because I'm a doer, right? But so for her to be able to come to me and say that, and both of my children are like that, they're both able to come to me and even have those kinds of conversations.
Yeah.
Know how I've impacted them. I've even gone back in the last year or so to apologize to my children for things that I did to them when they were growing up. And it wasn't that I'm a bad parent, or I thought that, or I said I was wrong, because you're typically not going to hear too many of those out of my mouth. Because all the decisions I've made were the decisions I made at the time, and wisdom and experience that I had at that time.
Exactly. Yeah. And we have to give grace with ourselves, which is also having integrity with ourselves.
Yes.
And our relationship with self.
And then just being able to have an open conversation with no repercussions. Nobody's mad. Nobody's angry. We take it in, right? Yeah. My daughter's even said something like, my daughter's probably more quick with it, right? And she has said a few things that have, as we like to call it, triggered me, and I had to sit with it.
Yeah.
And instead of being mad at her, because that's the difference, is also knowing when you have something, and that's having integrity with yourself. Because I could have got mad and snapped.
Oh yeah.
Which we all have done.
I was going to say, if somebody says they haven't done that,
because
I'm sorry.
I did it. Nobody's mad, right? I just being able to have a conversation, but also being able to sit. I had to sit. I'm going to tell you right now, something happened. I had to sit in my house for 3 days.
Ooh.
I can't go into the story right now, but I had to sit in my house for 3 days because one of two things were going to happen if I left that house.
Uh-oh.
And this is about knowing yourself, right? Because imagine had I left the house, I would have been mad at every person who came across my face.
Oh yeah.
The people at the checkout line, the people getting my food. Like, I would have just been a bitch.
Yeah. Sometimes we've got it like when, and what I think it is that that integrity with and knowing yourself is when the feels come up, you've got to go, okay, what are the feels?
Yeah.
Where are they coming from? Why am I having these feels? What is my responsibility in having the feel?
Yep.
Because every time we have a feeling, it is our own effing responsibility to have that feeling. Everything we do in this life, we are responsible for.
Yes.
Not just what we do, but things that happen to us, we also are responsible for. I'm not going to go super deep in that, but we're responsible for all of it. And the first thing you have to do in anything is dig down and find, okay, where am I responsible for this stuff?
And even going into that, and I had to look at that, right? So for 3 days, I sat in the house. I did not leave the house. I did not talk to anybody. Text people.
Yeah.
For a few people, because what happens too is when you get mad, you want to tell everybody, right? You want to tell everybody. And so after 3 days, the person finally responds to me. And when they respond to what I have said, I realize it's something that they are pissed about from 14 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. So their actions caused me to be in my house for 3 days because I did lose my shit that day. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. And so I spent those 3 days because I was like, I can't leave this house because, again, two things were going to happen. And so, and it's interesting because we've had a conversation since then. We've talked about it. They apologized for their actions. Also understanding this person and knowing that how they process feelings is different than how I process feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And not saying that you have to go and dissect everybody, but those people that are close to you, you kind of know everybody has a pattern, right?
Well, and I think that's part of integrity in relationships.
Yeah.
Is as we build relationships, we learn how the other person does, how they view the world, their representation of the world. We learn more little details about that. We learn more about how they process it. We learn more about our own representation of the world and our own process, how we process things, and we learn those things back and forth from each other. As we go through. And if I read this really cool quote the other day about, I wish I could come up with it exactly, but it was basically that communication is what solves things as opposed to silence. Like if you have a thing happen and you just like I'm like, oh, I'm just never going to talk to that person again, or I'm going to be mad at them and not talk to them, but say it's a family member, you're going to see them but you don't talk to them, that actually doesn't do anything but make things worse. And it's usually even the hardest conversations, the ones that are like you've been in your feels about the thing, or they've been in their feels about the thing, or both, and usually it's both. Then if you don't get to a point where you can discuss whatever the thing was, you're not going to find out what the other person's view was, what their what things they were feeling, why they might be feeling that, and however it is you're feeling or they're feeling, both valid, both 1,000% freaking valid. And there's not that one person's wrong. One person might be hurt, and the yes, when words come out of your mouth,
yes,
I just did a post yesterday about this. Actually, I didn't do a post. I responded to someone else's amazing post about words having meaning, and you can't take the words back. Once they come out of your mouth, you can't take them back.
Yeah, words have power, right?
Words have power.
They have power to start a war. They have power to create love. They have power to comfort people. Like words are so powerful. And I can tell you, I've held on to, and so going back to the word trust, right? This is something, when you were saying that, I was thinking about this, right? Is how many of you have automatically, when you get mad at someone, or could be your past self, however it goes, when you look and you go, now I don't trust that person because they hurt my feelings, or they did this, or they did that, before you even looked at yourself to say, oh, do I even trust myself around this person? Because that's a thing too, right? Yeah. And that's the accountability, because a lot of times we want to be so quick to blame somebody else.
Oh, right? Yeah.
And so again, going back to integrity, it's about owning your own stuff.
Own your own shit.
Right?
Own your own shit.
Right? Own it.
I mean, that's the first thing you have to do is own it.
I'm not going to lie. I think what happens sometimes, I put on this crown. And so when I was doing pageants, I couldn't curse. And so I can't.
Oh, see. And when I put it on, well, no, wait. I curse without it on.
But,
now, but you notice earlier I said F-bomb.
Yeah. I mean,
right?
I've
now,
said
but hang on. If I needed to drop an F-bomb, I would drop the actual word. There's just, I think there's a difference. If I didn't need to say own your own shit, I would say like own your own shit.
Yeah, of course.
But like sometimes you do have to drop the word. Again, words have power. And I just put in the chat, and I'm going to read this because this is like all about integrity, and it's a preview of next week, to be honest.
Yeah.
So there's a Breakthrough Thoughts had a newsletter article, issue number 6, You Can't Unsay It, that came out yesterday. And this is by Jessica, and it says, it's time to talk about the words we say, the time we choose to say them, the people we choose to say them to, and ultimately remembering the power we have when we breathe life into the words we say. And it's such a powerful concept number one, and then, take it deeper. And my response to that last night, my response to that in general, but was, our words have incredibly powerful meaning for ourselves, for others, even when we think they can't directly hear them. So when they have power for other people, even when we don't think that the other person can hear or is listening, etc., and for the universe as a whole. Words are sound. Sound is vibration. Vibration has frequency, and frequency has the powers, both positive and negative, to ourselves and to all beings.
Absolutely.
And we, they have power, but I do want to temper this slightly, and it's not really tempering, but words have power, and you can't unsay them once they come out. The correlating thought is you also have no way to know, anticipate, or plan for what someone else's reaction, their what meaning they give to your words, etc. You cannot anticipate someone else's internal representation of the world and the way that they react to your words. There's absolutely no way. And so, yes, we all can attempt and have the intention to be kind, to not harm, etc. The flip side of that is you also have no way to know how, when, where, and whatever that someone could be hurt by your words. You may be saying, "Hey, are you having a great day? What are you doing with your family today?" And you say that thinking, "Oh, I'm being kind, right?" But in their world, they might say, "What do you mean family?"
Right.
I'm not able to have kids. I don't have family. And I'm just saying, this may be what's going on in their head. And so you have no clue, even with people that you know really well, you don't always have a clue as to what reaction they're having to even seemingly innocuous words.
Yes. And the other thing to that, I will say, because I've encountered this a lot in my previous years. Right?
I thought you were going to say previous life, because I know you've had 3 or 4.
Get yourself together. The people who, use those words and they say, "Well, I was just angry. Well, I was just upset." That grinds my gears to no end. And I will say, "Well, but do you think that was the best thing to say? Right? Did you not think to take a break?" And it depends on who you're talking to, right? But really, just knowing when you are there's a feeling. I think Brene Brown said it best when I was watching her thing. Your emotions live in your body. So when you feel yourself getting upset, right? Your body will react a certain way, because if you think, and I talked about this, I was explaining this to my daughter the other day. If you go to slap somebody, their hands automatically going to go up or do something. They're automatically, their brain was not thinking, "Let me raise my hand and deflect."
Right?
No,
your conscious mind is not in the middle of that. Your unconscious is what's playing that game. Yeah.
So when somebody, because I remember when my daughter said something one time and I was just like, "Oh, okay." And I remember it stinging, right? And I'm just going, "Oh, okay." But I go upstairs, and for 3 days, for me, it's 3 days, everything. Okay.
Yeah.
For 3 days I'm laying there and I'm just like, that really bummed. I was like, why wouldn't she tell me that? It's just going on and on and on. Yeah. But again, knowing even when I've taught my children too, that when you get upset, no good things come out of emotions. People say things, people do things, right? And you have to take accountability for your actions.
Yeah.
Period.
Well, just the whole saying
actions.
Well, I was upset when that happened. Yes, you might have been upset, but you're the one who also did the action. You have to start with taking responsibility for your own peace. And then you also you need to have grace with self and others, and I think of the Hawaiian technique of Ho'oponopono, the forgiveness ceremony of, and in that you want to frequently you want to forgive yourself for whatever it is you said, did, or whatever, and the other person. So taking responsibility, but then providing and having forgiveness. And it's hard because we aren't taught. We're told to be kind. We're told to not be mad, especially as females. We're told, like, you little girls can't be mad. Don't whatever. It's like it's only an emotion for males. Like when males get mad, they're being assertive or something, and when females get mad, they're being aggressive. Wait a minute. No. Anyway, that's a whole different show for
but being able to but the thing is, you can have a conversation where if there's, like you said earlier, there's an understanding, right? Nobody's wrong. You feel what you feel. I felt what I felt. We're able to talk about it so that we can make it better for next time.
And in the absence of information, your mind is going to make up its own stories. Because if we don't have information, we're going to make up our own stories. And that goes back to that whole communication being what solves things. Silence makes things worse over time. I feel a mathematical equation coming on almost.
Oh gosh, I don't do
that. Yeah, I know. Not this morning. Like my brain, I tried to math a couple hours ago and it was like, no, that's not working today. I'm telling you, I need pancakes, not math today.
Well, I know last week
pancakes, not math.
I will say one of my greatest friends, sister goddesses, loves. She lives. When I tell you, she lives life to the fullest. She has a class, and I've taken her class. Her name is Laura Jacobs, and her class is called "Have Your Own Back," right? And I have been through 8 sessions of it. And the next one starts tonight, which I'm so excited because she has all this exciting information to share. And it's 4 weeks long. And then when I tell you, I have learned how to have conversations with people in the most constructive way. And not like we're mad and whatever, right? It's like I've learned how to go into the love room, which is something that we have there, which is about, because we all have negative self-talk all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So much, right? And it's like, what? I just need to go and just be showered with love, however that looks, right? Then it's about, asking yourself those questions, right? Like, is it true? Is this true? Is whatever, going on true?
And not just, is this true? Yeah. It's, is this true for me? And what is true for the others involved? Because just because something's true for one person does not mean that is the same truth for the others involved.
Yes. And then being able to, and when I tell you, she's taught me so much about taking a break, understanding how it affects your body first, and knowing, because that was the biggest thing for me to understand, because I started paying attention to when people would say certain things, or I realized because typically anytime anybody gets triggered, they will get angry. They get, there's anger that comes first, right? Or there's shame. So they either vocal about it or they go inward, right? And then they ruminate. Yeah. And so typically, so she has taught me so many different ways. And I wish our class started next week so I could tell everybody about it for next week. But
yeah, right.
But there's still time if anybody wants to jump in. Just let me know and I'll get you in. But she, when I took her class, it's called Have Your Own Back, right? And she's literally, and I want to tell you, when the whole process when I was going through some of the things, she would always keep saying, "Yeah, I don't want to hear about the other people. I want to hear about you," because when I tell you, it is so hard to focus on yourself.
Oh.
Hold yourself accountable.
and try being being in the helping profession for a living.
Yes.
And being, and I've talked, actually I have clients who are also helping in the helping profession. And this is like topic of the week of, it's not just about self-care. It's also about the knowing of self and the allowing yourself to be human, because that's huge. Because especially when you're in the helping profession, you frequently think, oh, I have to be superhuman. I have to be there for everybody. I have to this and that.
Yeah.
And there we go.
Do that. How'd you make those hearts come up?
I have a special camera.
Oh, I don't have
a camera. Does it?
Mine's here.
Well, it's on a Mac.
Sorry,
it's on a MacBook. It's on a MacBook.
I'm not as cool of a Macker as you.
Oh, well, maybe someday.
One day.
Yeah, there's all sorts of things it does. Confetti. I could use some confetti today. Oh, okay. So we're gonna squirrel for a minute. I'm gonna show you. Right. Look at what I woke up to this morning.
Yes. See, celebrate like a raccoon, stay up late, and get a little trashed. Ooh.
Yeah, that picture is me last night on the way to dinner. That's what 57 looks like, you guys.
Yay.
Well, actually, that's what 56 looks like, but close enough, right? But yeah, I wake up to a card with a raccoon on it, and I the picture I took was next to the tiara that I'm wearing, of course. But those of you who know, one of the interesting shit storms I've been dealt with in the last month or two, a couple months, has to do with raccoons, and I call them little bastages because of that. And that was just the most, I woke up laughing my ass off this morning because of that card. So the person who gave it to me will know that that I was laughing my butt off, but I was also looking at, there's comments going on here, comments going on about the response to people who are talking and being told, oh, I'm talking because, I think the way I'm interpreting this is that someone was talking because they have more experience than the other person, or that's what they like. Talk about being high and mighty if that's what happened.
And then I see the next one about silent treatment. Like, first of all,
and then
who the fuck is giving people silent treatments?
Silent treatments, yeah. But you know what? Hang on. If they're giving somebody a silent treatment,
that's a response.
A silent treatment is a response, and the silent person is responsible for their own shit. They're responsible for being silent, and we can't make them not be silent. Number one, we can't fix the thing without information. So yes, we're stuck, but it's not our freaking responsibility. And sometimes you have and this is the hardest part, I think, when it's not your responsibility, to have grace with yourself that you can't fix it, that you have to let them deal with their own shit. I had a situation that one of the situations I talked about Saturday morning, and I'm not going to tell the story per se, but those who were in Saturday morning coffee in the Breakthrough Show Network community know the story, and that I recently dealt with a big issue where the other person is not able to see their own responsibility in the interaction and the shit.
And you just have to own that and like just be
and
like,
this was 3 weeks. It wasn't 3 days. I sat with this thing for 3 weeks and saying, you were actually there the day it happened. You saw me the day that this incident happened and how much it crushed me. 3 weeks out. It took at least 3 weeks after that for me to sit with it and go, okay, this thing is not, I took my own responsibility for it. So don't get me wrong. I had responsibility in saying some words I couldn't put back in my mouth. It impacted another person. I actually realized immediately that they impacted that person and how much they hurt. What I didn't realize was the additional reaction that came from this person's baggage and things that they have for themselves that I don't have any way to fix.
Because what happens is they let it with the silent treatment, which listen, I was a mute as a child. And when I say that, like, I just wasn't allowed to process things. So now I'm a grown up and I talk a lot. Okay.
Yes, you do.
And
But I love you for it.
thank
by the
you.
way.
And I
Yeah.
tell people I have more stories than Reader's Digest. And I do.
Oh, yeah. And they're good.
When I would go, and I know for myself, my retreat into silent treatment, and it wasn't really silent treatment, so I don't want to say that. When I was triggered by something or whatever, and I would go inward, but I also knew if I don't say something, it's going to stay the same. Then you go into this pattern, you go into a cycle, and then next thing you know, it's like it's happening all over. But then it starts happening in other places, because not only will it start happening in your personal life, it will then carry over into some of your business things, or it will carry over into other relationships.
Yeah, because we rerun the same patterns over and over. But let me be really clear on this particular situation. Is that I think this, you've just clarified for something for me, and you don't even realize it, of course, because you do that. The wonderful and amazing saying, y'all, who, by the way, is going to be on 2D, on 2D next week. Next Tuesday is going to be a bomber. Next Tuesday,
set your timers, get your favorite beverage.
Get your favorite beverages from morning till night, because
and they say on Pretty Woman, cop a squat.
and cop a squat, because in the morning we're going to have Jessica is going to be on Show Me Your Nuts, and we're going to talk about Are You All In? So it's a continuation of what we're talking about here. And then in the evening, there's going to be 3D on 2D, Sang D, Jessica D, and Ferran D on. Yeah, 2D is becoming 3D next week, and it's
no glasses needed.
Yeah. No glasses needed, but oh my gosh, bring your drink and be ready to sit and take it in.
Notes and conversation.
So anyway, to loop myself back, because squirrels. I think there's a difference between the silent treatment, and stepping back on purpose, to keep yourself from being harmed.
And I think it has a lot.
Let me go explain that just a little bit, because in the situation that happened, the person that happened with, I have now chosen to step back and not interact with them until they come to me with understanding of themselves. Number one, because they weren't able to take responsibility for their own stuff. And I say not able because I don't think they have the maturity. No, it's not the mature. Well, it's not entirely maturity. It's
meet people where they are. You meet people where they are.
It's meeting them where they are. They are not in the place to have the maturity and the wisdom to understand where I was coming from that day. Because I'm 50. Well, I was 56. I'm 56 and they're much younger. And you cannot expect someone, you can't even expect someone at your same age to have your same experience, period. Right?
No. Listen,
even you can't expect people who are older to have the same experience you do.
Look, guys, here's a dropper for you. People thought, and this is yeah, this is gonna lie. Until July, and I'm gonna be honest, I still don't know, and I don't need anybody to come tell me. Okay. But I was talking to a friend, and we were talking about tattoos, and I said something about the snake, and she goes, "Oh, snakes are bad." And I said, "Why are snakes bad?" And she goes, "Oh, you know about the Adam and Eve story?" And I was like, "Actually, I don't. What is the Adam and Eve story?" And she started laughing, right? Friend, right? I've known her for 20-something years. She never knew that I did not know the Adam and Eve story.
Right.
Now, all of you may be in shock that I don't know, but I did not know.
It sounds like there was an assumption that you did know, though.
Right. But if you think about it, there is a wild worldwide assumption that people should know that. But what was fascinating is the people who I went to talk to ask some specific questions about the Bible specifically. It was very fascinating what I uncovered, which I'll talk about at another time. But to know that I'm maybe 10 years younger than Stacy, right? I still don't know the Bibles. I still don't know the Adam and Eve story. I can tell you what everybody tells me. I can tell you the different things. I bought a Bible in July. Well, I did not buy a Bible. Let me take that back. Pastor Don from Code Love Campaign, he actually took me to a seminary actually and got a Bible. And I have yet to read the story. My brother asks me every other week if I've read it yet. I have not. But it was that assumption, though, that somebody thought I knew something and I should know.
Because they thought you should know.
Yeah, that they thought I should know.
Right.
What was this laughter, which I'm not offended by the laughter, but it was, how do you not know?
Yeah.
Right? You know, how do you not know how to do this? And then I've had people in the last couple of years.
And I think that's,
just don't know how to do this. I'm like,
right. Just that concept itself.
Yes.
If you break that down, when you make the assumption that someone else should know something, and well, that was real. When you make the assumption that someone else should know something that happens to be in your internal representation of the world, you're not in integrity with them because you're not allowing them to have their internal representation of the world be different than yours. Because I guarantee, and if I say this once, I've said it a million times on this very show, is the number of 8.2 billion people on the planet, 8.2 billion different ways of looking at the world that are all unique and valid and truthful. They are true for themselves. And if you don't respect the other person's view of the world, how can you be in integrity with the relationship by not allowing them to be who they are and have their own view of things? So I had to allow this other person to have their view of the world. And in order to do that, I had to step away from them. And I'm not giving them the silent treatment.
Right.
If I'm approached with them wanting to speak about something, I will consider speaking about it. But because the person got upset and said that I hurt them and I have always hurt them, my choice going forward is to not hurt them again. And the only way I know how to not hurt them again is to keep myself away from them.
Right. And going, I will say, as a parent too, right? I have realized some things that I learned on my own and that for whatever reason, I thought my kids should know, right? And I'm realizing that at the wonderful age they are of 28 and 24 is there are certain things that they just don't know. And I've gone to them and I will ask them. So like when something happens and like some question comes up or there was like all kinds of things, I will go and ask and say, hey, how did this work for you guys? Or my kids, I will ask them, somebody asked me one time, do you have any good childhood memories? And so I automatically was like, oh shit, let me go ask my kids if they have any, because I can't find any right now. And so then I go to my kids, right? And I'm talking to them. And when I tell you the relief that I had that they were able to tell me they had happy childhood memories, was like, I was crying on the inside because they tend to get a little laughy at me if I get too emotional, or they go, oh, here she goes. But again, being able to look at what you've done, and sometimes even going back to say something to somebody that was not really who you were at that moment.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, when you go back to that person and say, hey, you know what? You may not remember this, but I do, and I need to share this with you. That is going to mean so much more to that person. Oh yeah. That they may have been affected by it, and they may have, their ego even today may even go, I'm not going to let you know that bothered me. Right.
Well, and eventually,
but you are being in integrity with yourself by being able to go to that person and acknowledge what you did, acknowledge the impact
Right.
that you had. And that's huge.
Yeah. And in the scenario I'm kind of referencing today is I apologized immediately for the words that came out of my mouth. And mind you, I mean, when I say immediate, it was within minutes, but it also had gone through the am I really sorry filter so that it was in fact genuine. So don't, like I realized it hit my gut and I'm like, "Oh my God, you just hurt this person." And then, immediate apology. And then I actually apologized again later, right before I was told that I always hurt them. And like Jessica said, always is a huge word. And how come they didn't say anything sooner? And I agree. I agree, but I also know that if I were to have gone down that path that day and said, "Oh, wait a minute," and like made a big deal of it that day, the other person was not in any place at that time. I could tell they weren't in a place they were going to be able to process things.
Well,
and I knew I had to process things.
And I know in that particular situation, we also have to look at how it was expressed.
How,
right?
when, and where. Those are also
right, because
details that are kind of important.
Right, because sometimes there's when what do I want to say? When an outburst is expressed about something that they've been hurt by, and this is given anybody's frame of mind, right? Is that they will do it in a way that's public, as they think, perhaps, maybe, I don't know, because I'm not in their mind.
Yeah, right. Here we go again.
Right, they're trying to make a statement, whatever it is, but they're doing it in such a way that also you have to remember ego could play into that place because they're wanting to be validated. For whatever reason. We also have to think about, and this is where when Stacy was talking about earlier, is going back in, what did I not create that this person couldn't come talk to me in a private setting to have this conversation?
Or maybe it had nothing to do at all with me.
Correct.
Like, and I won't know until there is communication.
Right.
But I also am choosing, I'm not giving silent treatment, but I'm choosing not to be the person who brings it up because I know that there's needs to be more life experience there on the other side to be able to bring that. And that when they're ready, they will able to bring that to me. And so, Jessica, I think in a way that kind of speaks to you is the discernment when, it's taken all of my discernment to, it's not cut the person off, but I had to step away, and it took everything I had to do that, because I can give somebody the silent treatment. I can do it. And actually, if I go silent on you, I mean, hello, you've been sitting here listening to me talk, right? I'm not a silent person. But if I give you the silent treatment, if I truly give you the silent treatment, something the F is wrong. And if I do that, then I'm going to bully up and you're going to have to come to me.
Yeah, I'm currently getting the silent treatment from somebody who gets quite humorous.
Yeah. In this other situation, eventually I may address it, but if I really get mad and do silent treatment, then something's wrong, because I can't be quiet, freak, and
also, when and this is this is not going to be part, like, my last statement of the day, right? Because what I think is, for myself, I can only speak for myself, is that when someone's given me the silent treatment and I know I've been honest and I know I am truthful with who I am, and I have been able to express my thoughts and feelings, right? And people want to say this is selfish, call it whatever you want. I know that I'm in integrity with myself. And if someone chooses to give me the silent treatment because of what I said, and they don't have the modalities or whatever yet to have a conversation with me, but there's always an open door. My door is always open to have conversation, right?
Door's still open, yeah.
So but to be able, that's why I said I find it humorous. I find it humorous for me because I already know what's happening. I know the person's giving me
but you bring up a really good point, Sang, because it's all any of us can individually do.
Yeah.
Is be in integrity with ourselves. Because if you are within integrity with yourself and you allow the other person to be in integrity with themselves or disingenuous with themselves, where you allow the other person to be where they're at.
Yeah.
You're in integrity with yourself. You allow them to be where they're at. And then if then you allow the communication part, as it happens, that's where then trust is built in the relationship, when you're allowing the other person to be themselves, whoever they are, but you also have to be in integrity with yourself. And sometimes that means you have to go, okay, I've done everything I can do. And you have to step back. You can't force.
And here's the thing.
You can't force it.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. Even during that silent treatment, right, that one is giving to me, is I'm still me, right? I'm still going to send you a message every week like I normally do, because I'm not mad. Now,
and we're back to understanding when your feels come up.
I am in integrity with myself. I am okay with myself. If you have a problem with what I said, or you're upset, and I know you're giving me the silent treatment, but I'm not giving you that. I'm not feeding it. I'm not saying, okay, so you haven't talked to me in the last 17 days. What's your problem?
And Jessica brings up Jessica. We should have just had Jessica on stage with us this morning for sure. If somebody is choosing that, and she's at a point in her life where she's not sure if she wants to be associated with somebody, and I agree. I think then it comes back to us reacting within integrity with ourselves, of whether we choose to be involved in the energies that are being put out by someone else. And that doesn't mean you're like, you hate them or you don't ever want to talk to them again. It may just mean that you're not going to be associated at the same level for a period of time or ever, I mean, and I think that's one of the hardest lessons to learn, especially for somebody who's a connector, or if you have a high value of relationship, if that's a high value for you, it's hard when a relationship has rocky spots in it, or dissipates, or whatever it is. It makes it hard because you can't do what the other person, you can't do the things for the other person. And all you can do is be in integrity is do what you feel is right is kind or right, or whatever your intention, the intention of do no harm to the other person. And then you sometimes have to step back and just be in integrity with yourself. And that's hard as F.
Yeah.
Hard as F.
No easy feat.
It's not. We didn't even, we scratched the surface, and I put my notes away. I brought Sang on stage, I put the notes away, and that's how it rolled today. Will you join me again?
Absolutely.
And show me more of your nuts?
Of course. As long as I can bring the biscuits.
No, I'm going to say you must.
I must bring biscuits.
You must bring the biscuits. Yes. You guys, next week, Jessica's going to join me, and we're going to talk about, are you all in?
You get all the D next Tuesday.
And then Tuesday night, you're going to get all the D. So make sure to... Oh. All right, I forgot that there was music there. I was going to talk over the slide. But make sure to like, share, and subscribe on the Breakthrough Show Network, so that you can get not only Show Me Your Nuts, but you can get 2D. You can get the Breakthrough Show. You can get all the shows, all the fun stuffs. and the community events. Like Sang and I both talked about, there's a show on, or not a show, but a community event on Saturday morning called Soul Saturday Coffee. And
yeah, I clean my house in the mornings because DJ Jessica in the house.
Yeah.
And I get all my housework done now for the last 2 weekends during that. And then I get to sit down and have like a group chat. So it's like,
yeah,
so good.
And I allowed myself to do mine from the bedroom the other day. And even though I had a blistering headache, it was one of the most amazing discussions I've ever had. So if you guys haven't ever been there, follow the Breakthrough Show Network. Look in the link to the Breakthrough Show Network.club, and all of the good community stuff is in the show notes every week here. If you can't find it, get a hold of me and I will get you pointed in the right direction.
And I'm pretty sure this is my sound. Hold on.
So here we go. Tuesday isn't Tuesday without some big D energy. It's like now she finds her sound, and now she finds her sound.
The end of the day, I'm not a quick DJ like Jessica. So yeah.
Well, not all of us. Not all of us can. I'm gonna have to add more sound effects in the backstage. There's no two ways about that. So Sang, I appreciate you. I love you beyond words as a sister. I'm so glad I found you. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Thank you to the one who gave me my raccoon card.
Yes.
Those little, if you know, you know. I'm telling you, it's if you know, you know what about the raccoons. Celebrate like the raccoons, stay up late and get a little trashed. And if you trash somebody's property in the process, well, you know.
Hopefully they have insurance.
Thankfully, I'll say it this way. Thankfully, they have insurance. You guys, I will see you next week. Jessica's going to join me, and you can show me some more of your nuts.
Thank you for joining us on this nutty adventure. Remember, personal growth and wellness are journeys best taken together. Keep exploring, keep growing, and don't forget to show me your nuts next time.